Aloha Mamas, and welcome to the first Mama Mindset podcast. This is a space that is so exciting for me to launch. It's been something I've been nurturing and incubating for longer than 9 months, longer than the time it takes for us to bring a beautiful human into this world, into the land of motherhood that has brought us all together and united us all. And I worked through a lot of just different limiting beliefs around what if it fails? What if it isn't serving the moms it's meant to serve? And what if it's not the right time? And a lot of the questions that we can ask ourselves. And I'm here in this delicious flavor of vulnerability and authenticity and transparency to sit down with you and have these life chats and download the dreams that I feel like have been divinely dropped into my soul, and to share and hold space for the dreams which also have been divinely dropped into your soul, and for us to just grow into this expansive space that we're offered as mamas. And that is what I envision for the Mama Mindset podcast, to have lots of unfiltered and unscripted conversations and real life chats with mamas that I know and mamas that I am yet to meet. And also for me to come here and have the privilege and honor to have the sacred space of your time in listening to this, and to up-level all of our lives and to hold space for all of that which you know that you're growing towards in your life, and all of that energy that you're leaning into as a mama. A little bit more about me. I am a fellow mama of two. I have a 5-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son, and also a fur mama to my husky, my first baby. He is 6 years old. And motherhood for me has been an amazing ongoing journey. Not only has it expanded the spiritual side of who I am and how I want to show up in the world, I think it has invited me so much into the artistic side and the creative side of who I am. I'm also a board certified pediatrician and sports medicine physician. And it's from this place that of a healer and somebody who has been through the medical system, medical school, and postgraduate training and residency and fellowship in clinical medicine. It was through this portal that I really entered into Mama Mindset. These interactions that I had with thousands of mamas in delivery rooms that were so expansive, so transcending. Every single time I would walk into a delivery room, I would feel so privileged and so honored to be invited into that sacred space where that mama was tapping into her superpowers, where she was coming into alignment with a vertical sense of awe of who she was, and believing and seeing that power magnified and glorified right in front of her, of what she was capable of doing. And I could feel that energy every single time. And I obviously loved taking care of babies. It's why I'm a pediatrician and went into that aspect of medicine. But for me, the growing momentum I felt in my life, the growing conviction I had, was this connection that I had with mamas, with seeing them in the delivery room and the postpartum unit in the hospital, and in getting to care for their babies, your babies in their life as they grew, in the office and in hospital visits, if that happened. And that's who I am as a human, the fabric of who I am as a woman and as a visionary. And now as an entrepreneur with Mama Mindset has always been interwoven with the lives of these fabulous, fascinating women that I met along the way. And she shared many a mama, she would share her life story with me, her struggles, her fears, her triumphs, her limiting beliefs around motherhood, and getting to navigate those streets, those avenues, those thought patterns in a mama's life, and getting to uplift her and empower her and watch her give herself permission to soar, to really mother in a way that felt natural to her and that was aligned with her values, was so expansive and so fulfilling for me. And I came to kind of grow into this growing conviction that it was going to be beyond the white coat and the stethoscope that I placed on those babies, where I would have the maximal impact, where I would have the ability to show up and hold space for you mamas in the way that I wanted to. And so with growing courage, I started having conversations with myself and asking myself, what did I want out of a career in clinical medicine? And was this vision that I had for mamas something I could do within the confines of clinical medicine? And with a growing momentum in my heart and a restlessness around it, I started dreaming more and more about what this could look like, and allowing myself to play around with alternative futures. I'm somebody who is great at following and pursuing dreams and passions, and it's brought me a lot of, success in life and a lot of wonderful things. I pursued collegiate soccer at the University of Miami. It's actually where I met my husband, and then medical school. And I actually didn't get into medical school the first time. So taking the MCAT multiple times, that's the entrance test you take. And then all of the grit and grace that it took to make it through medical school and beyond, the 90-hour work weeks. And I claim all of that. And that's a wonderful part of me. And I'm thankful for those versions of me. But I'm also thankful that what I get to do now, and what I choose to do now, is come and be here. And I've pivoted from clinical medicine because I truly believe that the flavor of who I am as a mother, as a healer, as a physician, and as a visionary is sitting in front of you in full vulnerability and in empowering you and believing in you until you grant yourself that permission to soar and live the life of your dreams and create the life that you want to live now. And know that you are enough just as you are. Your unique vision for the future, your unique sense of creativity, and what you can bring to the world is not something that can be replicated by anyone else. And I could think of no greater honor as a fellow woman and visionary, as a fellow mama, and as someone who is a physician and has seen mamas in their genius zone. I could think of no greater honor and potential impact than to be able to walk alongside you along your journey in motherhood, and to reflect back to you all of that power that I can see that you hold, and all of that shine that you have, and to echo to you that you are safe to rise. You are safe to pursue whatever it is that ignites your soul on fire, whatever dreams that you've been harboring, whatever you might label them hobbies or passions that you don't think they're worthy of, being something that you make financial gain off of. And whether this is something that you pursue financially or not, it's a common theme I find, that we as women often tend to minimize our strengths and our abilities because they come naturally to us. And we think that we have to work really hard at everything. And we think that it must be some arduous journey to get there. I mean, I've definitely been in that camp where I have to earn it. We have to be worthy of it. And I would offer that all of those are limiting beliefs and stories, which likely don't serve you anymore. And that returning home to whatever it is that you are naturally gifted at, whatever has been woven into your DNA, is your way forward. And how can you weave that into your life right now and lean more into that, do more of that, which brings you joy and which creates ripples around you, which you cannot even see how positive that impact is. And when you choose to invest in yourself, and when you choose to say yes to your dreams and your passions, you up level your life in a way that is so magnificent. It will change everything. It will change the way that you interact in your relationships, within your intimate relationships in your family, with your partners and your babies, and it enhances the mother-child bond. And for me as a pediatrician, there's going to be nothing more satisfying in this life than seeing a woman on fire, a mama on fire, pursuing that which she was created to do. And I feel strongly that motherhood just really amplifies these desires and these creative geniuses within all of us, because motherhood illustrates to us every single day our ability to nurture, our ability to multitask like bosses. Like what we are doing in our homes, around the kitchen tables, in boardrooms, in online, is amazing. And if no one's told you that today, you are amazing. And harnessing that energy of that which you bring every single day and harnessing that toward your dreams and your desires, you will accomplish things that are incredible. And that's what Mama Mindset's about. It's learning, and not only learning, but choosing to protect your energy, knowing that boundaries are sexy. We're going to talk a lot about that. I've learned boundaries in my life, and I'm still learning them. But that they're necessary, and that self-care is never selfish. Self-care is healthcare. It is your way of nurturing yourself in a reverent and loving way, and cultivating that sense of radical compassion for yourself, that space where you choose to pour into yourself, you choose to invest in yourself and speak your own love languages over yourself. For me, I love the concept of love languages. If you're not familiar with it, it's based on a book by Gary Chapman, and it talks about 5 different love languages being in no particular order. They're words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, physical touch, and what's the last one? Anyway, for me, I'm words of affirmation and quality time, hands down. So when I speak love into other people's lives, I tend to do like write them text message or call them or leave them a message, or want to, go get a coffee, live chat, because those are things that would speak love into my life. Perhaps for someone else, their love language, the last one is acts of service. And I know that because it's one of my husband's. So perhaps someone else in your life has different love languages. And the way you can know somebody's love languages is the way in which they sort of innately try to communicate their love to you. And I say this all because it obviously helps in interpersonal relationships. But when you choose to speak your own love languages to yourself, for example, for me, it's sitting down and writing, journaling. That's like a word of affirmation and a way for me to affirm my thoughts and validate all of what happens in here. And it's spending quality time with myself, carving out time that is for me, the inner introverted me, that was long dormant, because I am an extrovert and able to kind of connect with a lot of people. It's a superpower that I have, that I love, that I claim, but I also have this introverted side of me that really needs to be nourished. And so when you speak your love languages to yourself, when you choose to have that radical compassion and you choose to really invest in yourself, you will exist with an energy that is so grounded in this neutrality and this safety of who you are. And you'll come to a place where, and we'll talk a lot about this, all of your emotions are your teachers. You acknowledge the fear that you feel, you acknowledge the anxiety that you feel, some of these emotions that we tend to run from as moms, and especially like in the postpartum period, because we think they're wrong or we shouldn't have them, or it means we're doing something wrong, or any of the thing. They drives us further into isolation, which is exactly what we're going to be addressing here on Mama Mindset. I would offer that all of your emotions are teachers. And when you come from that place of emotional neutrality, because you've been speaking life and love into yourself, because you've been speaking that sense of peace over you, you will acknowledge all of your emotions, and you will learn from all of them, and you will know and come to this place where everything in the universe is working out for your highest good. And you won't just hear that, but you'll believe that. When you live your life from that place, that everything is working out for your highest good, what can you learn from this? How can you learn from this? Whatever adversity you may be going through, it builds your sense of resilience, and it helps you build your sense of humor in motherhood. And it allows you to take on this capacity where you're able to hold space for other mamas in your life and add to this really global initiative that I see with Mama Mindset, and that's already taking place with mamas around the globe, where we hold space for one another and we become vulnerable with each other, not by just telling your life story, but also maybe by asking a question and risking, looking. I think we hold back on asking questions as mamas because we are afraid of appearing inadequate or that we don't have it all figured out. And that is this societal myth that we're playing into, this box that we feel like we don't want to appear that we don't know everything. So we just don't ask the question. And that drives us further into isolation, and it robs us of a chance to bond with someone else and to allow someone in their zone of genius or their expertise to speak out and share and fellowship with you. I was actually just talking with a friend on a podcast about that, about vulnerability. And Mama Mindset has been on my heart for so long. And this journey to come here makes me smile because I'm so grateful to versions of myself that knew I would be sitting down here in Maui speaking to you all, and we would be starting this growing mama momentum. I like to call mama momentum this forward momentum of mamas everywhere. And I'm so excited to hear about your stories and your struggles and your triumphs. And I think that all of our triumphs are born out of various traumas in our life, and owning and claiming those and allowing ourselves to grieve different things that we've been through. And also then to take inventory of the strength that it took, the courage that we demonstrated in those various periods of our life. Those are all the building blocks that make up mama mindset, and that allow you to come from this concrete place of knowing, of coming into vertical alignment with your intuition, your mama tuition. I thought about naming the podcast Mama Tuition because it's a term that resonates so deeply with me. And I believe that it is your superpower as a mama. Back to those delivery rooms that I walked in, that mama tuition, that inner knowing that she had the ability and the strength to bring forth this new life into the world, this primal power encoded into her DNA, that once she believes in that, and you've been there, whether you've birthed a physical human or you've become a mother in another way and held that baby, and you believed and bought into that strength, which was woven into who you are as a woman. And when you did that, you were in alignment with your superpower, your mama tuition. And there's been many times in your child's life and in your own where you've had that voice, that inner knowing, that compass that you knew was guiding you in the right direction. And whether or not you listen to it is maybe neither here nor there, but I offer that mama tuition is this benevolent force there to guide you. And it's the voice that lives inside you, and it can become louder and more prominent when you are willing to really look at yourself in the mirror. This week, when you pass by yourself in the mirror, I want you to go look at yourself and really speak life and love over her, and start noticing the way that you speak to yourself. I have affirmations on the Mama Mindset website that I like to call Affirmations because they're for you. And really, it's such a gift that we can give ourselves, tuning into that dialogue, the way that we speak to ourselves, because it has to start there. It has to start within. Some good exercises, I think, to maybe start with. Some of my favorite are: consider shedding the language that you may or may not employ in your life. I'm guessing that you do, because many of us do. I know I do. We do a lot of shoulding on ourselves, that should storm. So stop shoulding on yourselves. Things like, I should do this, I should do that. Oh, I should. It's kind of deflating and to me, and it's disempowering language. Another one is, I need to do this, I need to do that. And consider pivoting from that and using empowering words such as, I choose to, I get to. So instead of I have to work out today, I get to work out today. Or I should really do that. I choose to do that. I choose to stay up late tonight because I would like to write this chapter of this book I'm thinking about. Whatever it could be. It's really fun and it's really empowering, and you'll catch yourself. And that is the cool thing, is not shaming yourself when you catch yourself in those thought patterns again, because they're hardwired and it's going to take a while, but more how cool it is that now you are cultivating this awareness. Oh, instead of shoulding, I can choose to do this. So that is a challenge for you this week, is pivoting away from the shoulds and the needs and towards the I get tos and the I choose tos, and how that feels, how that lands, and where that places you energetically. And I know that if you constantly speak that way to yourself, you're going to feel yourself up leveling, and you're going to feel that energetic vibe really bring you up. So see if that's something that lands on your beautiful mama neurons in a way that might serve you this week. And a little bit more about me. I was, I'm sure I'll share lots of my stories as we go, because I'm becoming more and more of a storyteller, and that's a fun thing. I remember sitting at our little house that we had in Honolulu. We had this cute little yellow old plantation bungalow a couple miles from the hospital where I worked in Honolulu. And I remember when my daughter was, she's probably 10 weeks old, and I was going back to work the next day. It was my third year of residency. So still in a space in the medical world where you're not, you're working some pretty crazy hours, and that's just the way it is. So I was going to be returning to 90-hour work weeks the next day, away from her, away from this beautiful new life that I was overjoyed that I got to be her mom. And I still marvel at it. I get to be her mom. And I just wanted to stay suspended in the sacredness of that space with her forever. There was nothing more I craved in those moments than to just not miss a single moment of her life. And I had loved the 10, 11 weeks that we had together, where I got to be part of every moment of every day, except when, we were both cashed out. Those like amazing naps that you have in the immediate postpartum period. And I just wasn't sure how I was going to remedy this calling that I felt to care for other people's children, and this passion that I had for pediatrics with being a new mama. And what was my narrative going to look like going forward? And so I sat down with her that day, and I had her next to me. I remember on my left-hand side, she was on her tummy doing tummy time, probably protesting as they do. And she was on this cute little sea flower swaddle that we had. And I opened my piano book to a song that I had been playing since I was a little girl on the piano. My Little Mermaid, It Was Part of Your World, which is a song that like every 80s child and child since then should learn, because it's like amazing, right? And so I'm playing her Part of Your World, and I'm literally just silent tears are flowing down. And I am every emotion of scared, anxious, nervous, heartbroken, traumatized, overwhelmed, sad, and confused at how will the pieces of my life blend in any way, in any kind of harmony that allows me to be a mom to this beautiful baby, and the wife that I desire to be, and the physician that I desire to be, and survive all this. And I did. I went back the next day to 90-hour work weeks and 28-hour calls away from her, holding the code blue pager and pumping and doing it all. And it was super challenging time. And it also illustrated to me a strength I didn't realize I had. And it was a survival period for sure. And I did survive it. But I claim that now. And I know that postpartum period looks different for every mama. So I worked through her first 2 years of life pretty consistently clinically, and then came to a space where I was offered a pretty prestigious job out of fellowship. And the job description was essentially to open up a new branch of in our medical community in Honolulu. And it would require me to be working nights, weekends, and holidays pretty much on repeat. And I started having this disconnect in my soul between what I had envisioned my life looking like as a mom and as a physician. I was under no illusion that there was going to be some, sacrifice involved. I'm somebody who is willing and able to sacrifice and work hard. And I know mamas all have that ability. But I really felt this growing disconnect between what I wanted my life to look like and what was the reality unfolding in front of me. And I started to allow those questions to formulate in my heart and in my soul. Is this what I wanted? Is this the path that I wanted to pursue? And as I would put her to bed at night, I would just be like silently crying, singing to her, and thinking I would miss out on bedtime, this sacred time every night. I think it's just so beautiful when we get to be there as these stewardesses as they go into their dreams. And I cultivated the bravery to talk to my husband about it as I finally like let those questions come out into the world. And I'll never forget walking across the field close to our house by sunset, when we used to walk to the beach if I could get home before the last lights, and just starting to lay out this vulnerability that I had. And those versions of me that were willing to wrestle with this restlessness, this growing conviction that there could be something different for me, that there could be something that Anique, the artist, wanted to create out of all of her life experiences, and that there could be this combination, this beautiful explosion of creativity that came from her expertise and her experiences in life. And it could look completely different from what she thought her life was going to look like. I thought at one point I would have this clinical career in medicine and it would span several decades, and I would add to the body of beautiful clinical work that my colleagues are doing and that my mentors are doing. And that healing is so vast and so important and so majestic and so magical. And I applaud it, every single ounce of everything that's being done by physicians everywhere. I know them, I was them, I am them. And so that does not detract or minimize whatsoever from the beautiful work that they're doing in their genius zones. But for me, I started to believe and know that it was okay for me to pivot to do, not only was it okay, but it was the dreams that had been divinely dropped into my spirit and my soul. And it was heeding this growing conviction and cultivating that bravery. I believe that it takes courage to pursue your dreams. And sometimes it takes even more courage to walk away from them when they aren't serving you anymore, into a new direction that maybe you don't know. So for the first time in my life, mamas, I pivoted away from a very concrete, clear cut path in clinical medicine. I have been somebody who's like always had a plan, into a space of surrender and of stillness and uncertainty that I had never known before. What does it look like? Will I be successful? All of it. And I've been in that space probably for 2 years now, formulating mama mindset. And it has been such a humbling, beautiful, transforming, expansive journey. And I know that I have sat and wrestled with what I wanted this to be and submitted it to what it is meant to be, and not forced it to be something that meets metrics of success that I maybe once held. And I now hold mama mindset in such a sacred, fertile ground that I know it's about telling this, hearing and telling the stories and holding space for all of you, and empowering any mom that I'm meant to cross paths with. And that this is really a global initiative that crosses all boundaries of geographics and time zones and all of it, because mamas are connected in a magnificent and really, quite frankly, divine way. When we're chosen as humans and as visionaries to also be mothers, it unlocks in us a new level of creativity, a new level of compassion, of nurturing, and of empathy. And when we're able to offer that to ourselves and able to invest in ourselves, and then from that place also offer that to other women and other mothers, that it isn't a place of competition or of comparison, but it's a place of compassion and cultivating empathy, that it leaves me speechless, because it truly allows us to live life to our fullest potential and to create the better world that we really envision for ourselves and our children. And it starts with you. It starts with me. And it starts with us boldly living into our dreams and coming into alignment with that which we want to pursue, and choosing to know that you can create the life that you want to live right now. It doesn't have to be in 5 years down the road. I had a lot of limiting beliefs around my career in medicine, things like, well, I need to work until I pay off my student loans, and then I can pursue whatever it is that brings me joy. Or I need to work at least 5 years so I can be a respected physician and kind of pay homage to, the mentors that I had, and the time and resources that were invested in my training journey, those kind of stories. And I started to challenge those one by one. And you have your own stories and limiting beliefs, but they are so powerful to confront. And it's so important to kind of unpack all of them and ask yourself, is this true? Is this something that I'm going to live my life by? Is this something that I want to validate? And for me, releasing those, subtracting those things was so expansive, and it just created this freedom for me to then give myself permission. And I think that's where I'm going with all of this is no one or anything is standing in your way of you creating the life you want to live. It's oftentimes about coming into alignment with yourself and giving yourself permission to pursue whatever it is that you want to pursue. And I love the question, and it was posed to me by one of my favorite people, who started off as a life coach and is now a dear friend. And it is, how good are you willing to let your life get? And I think we have this opportunity to ask ourselves this question every single day. And in motherhood, it is colorful chaos. There's a lot of creativity involved, but it also gets to be this really sacred, amazing chapter of our life that we can just tap into our inner child and our curiosity, and that curiosity we see in our children all day long. And motherhood is infinitely more fun when you are repatterning and reparenting that inner child in you and tapping back into her, thanking previous version of yourself that have gotten you today, and also believing in the future version of yourself that is beckoning you forward, calling you forward into more. And that's why you landed here on Mama Mindset. I know it is. It's because you believe that you were meant for more. And I'm here to tell you that you are safe to rise. You are safe to pursue that which ignites your soul on fire, and that everything that you were created to be, and that you can create, is uniquely something that you alone can bring into this world. So it's not about looking around and seeing whether it's been done before or it is being done now, or, the compare mode shots that we can all take, which are toxic and don't help us. It's that no one can do it in your way and your flavor. No one ever has, and no one ever will be able to do that. And so living within your own genius zone is just that, knowing that there is an ever expansive space coming from you, emanating from you and your creativity, and that it has nothing to do with what any other mama is doing. And if you truly just believe that there is a community, me and so many mamas around you that want to see you, I hesitate to even say succeed because that's kind of a word that I've dropped, but that want to see you soar, that want to see you living into who you are, who you were created to be. It's wonderful, all the expertise that you might have garnered over different periods of your life, but truly who you were created as a human, and what you have to offer and what naturally flows from you, that is the stuff of your genius zone. And so for me, for example, I was in my zone of excellence serving as a physician. I'm very gifted clinically, and I know that I was a beautiful pediatrician and made a difference for a lot of mamas and a lot of lives. And I could have done a career in pediatrics for 40 years or whatever, however many years. And it could have been a beautiful time. I chose to, and I choose to continue to live into my zone of genius, which is my own unique brand of being a healer. And that's how Mama Mindset came to be, is that I chose that bravery. I chose that route of showing up who I am. And it doesn't look like anything I ever thought it would, or anything I ever read about. And I'm still learning what exactly that is. And I know it's vulnerability. I know it's showing up and coming and inviting you along on my own journey, and also expressing my gratitude that you would spend your time here today, because I truly value time as the greatest gift you can give someone, and your time is extremely valuable. And placing those protective barriers around your time and around your energy, and of course, putting up those lovely, sexy boundaries is your path forward. And Mama Mindset is going to be all about looking into that self-reflective pond, at her staring back at you, and getting so comfortable with yourself, with your emotions as your teachers, and with that creative genius that lies within you, Mama. And I am so excited to hear more about your story, your passions, who it is, who you are, and who you are becoming, and to share more of my story along the way. So I look so forward to it. There is nothing more exciting to me than getting to live into this space that Mama Mindset is, that is bigger than me. It's bigger than you. It's all of us collectively coming together. But it does start with you, and it does start with me. And I want it to feel intimate at the same time that it feels like it's growing and it's moving forward. So welcome. I am here for you. I am here to listen and hold space for you. And I am so excited and honored that you have landed here. One of my favorite words I'll end with is serendipity. And I know that it is not by accident that you have listened today, but by a serendipitous intersection in your life that our life paths have now crossed. And I look forward to hearing more from you. You can find me at www.mamamindset.com, or you can email me your thoughts. I love to hear your thoughts at aloha@mamamindset.com. Until next time, aloha mama.